I have seen light woven like cloth from the stars, and darkness called forth from blood and bone. There is a magic in Middle-earth still, and though it slumbers in many lands and dreams in others, not all who wake it are wise, and not all who wield it seek to do good. Come, friend, sit by the fire. This old mage's tower will shelter us for now, for the night is long and the wind bites like warg's teeth. At least here, beneath the stars and beside this flame, you are safe. Safe enough, at least, for stories of magic and sorcery. I am Cerfindol of Rivendell, master of lore and keeper of many secrets. I am older in years beyond your reckoning, and have walked under starlight before the moon first rose. In my time, I have seen the clash of dark powers stirring in the east, and unsavory deeds wrought by the hands of evil creatures not of this world. You would have me speak of magic? Of the sorcerers and spell-weavers, from the stony barrows of Eriador to the sweltering deserts of Harad? So be it. But listen well, friend, for there is much to cover, and not all such tales end kindly. Among my own people, the Eldar, magic is less a thing learned than remembered, a grace of the world as it was before Morgoth's malice poisoned the very earth. We do not conjure fire from the air for spectacle, or bend shadows for deceit. No, our craft, if you would call it such, is bound in song, in the memory of the two trees, and in the light we carried from Ammon across the sea. In Rivendell, there are few now who can shape enchantments. Yet there are still those, myself among them, who can weave dreams into sleep or call forth visions through water and song. You would call it magic. We call it Artanaro, the high gift. It is not power for power's sake. It is healing, remembrance, preservation. This is why the 3 rings were given into our keeping, not to rule, but to protect against time's cruel hand. Yet even among the elves, not all are pure-hearted. Do you remember Eorl the Dark Elf? He wrought wonders of metal, but his heart grew twisted with pride and possessiveness. Magic, even among the firstborn, can turn sour when love gives way to control. Now, the mightiest wielders of magic in these latter days were the Istari, the wizards sent by the Vala from beyond the world. They came robed in frailty, cloaked in humility, though their spirits burned with the light of the Maya. You know them. Mithrandir, whom you call Gandalf. Curunir, who fell and was broken. Radagast of the birds and beasts, and others who vanished into shadow, their purposes lost. Their magic was never of domination, at least not at first. They were forbidden to match Sauron blow for blow, lest they become what they sought to destroy. Gandalf's power lay not in thunder or flame, though he could summon both when dire need came. His true might was in his wisdom, his counsel, and in igniting hope in the hearts of others. But Saruman, Saruman, he who delved too greedily into the devices of Sauron and the arts of industry. His voice was his weapon, woven with persuasion so deep even the wise could falter. That too is magic, not fire nor storm, but the shaping of will. We shall discuss his rise and fall another time, for his tale is long and not without much anguish and fear. Now, you may think the dwarves to be strangers to magic, but that is a mistake born of elvish arrogance. True, they do not cast spells as men or elves might, but in the crafting of runes and stone, there is a power all their own. The doors of Durin, which yield only to the right words, that is dwarvish and elvish craft entwined. I have seen dwarves chant to stone and watched it split clean as paper, seen runes traced in mithril glow like stars when danger draws near. Their magic is slow and deep, not quick or bright. It lies in the bones of the world. And though few speak of it, there are tales of Durin's folk calling up fire spirits in times of old. Dangerous, forbidden practices that led, perhaps, to the awakening of darker things beneath the mountains. Now do not look surprised, but even the orcs have their sorcerers, twisted mockeries of elven lore, steeped in blood and shadow. In the dark of Angband, Morgoth forged more than monsters. He bred mockeries of all free peoples, and some among the orcs learned to call upon the malice of the void. I have fought against such shamans in the ruins of Khan Dûm and the haunted paths near Gundabad. They wield no light. Their power comes from pain, sacrifice, and terror. They chant in black speech, calling forth spirits of the slain to sow madness in the minds of men. I once saw a host of warriors brought to their knees by a single shrieking figure, its eyes like coals and its mouth frothing with curses. Do not mistake their magic for weakness, because it is crude. There is power in desperation, a cruel and hungry strength, and although they may be few in number, the dreaded orc shamans bring forth the full wicked wrath of the Dark Lord upon all who oppose him. You've heard of the Barrow Downs, perhaps? Ancient tombs that once held the honored dead of Arna's kings. The Witch King defiled them, yes, but not alone. His shamans learned to bind spirits to stone and soil. They took the souls of the fallen, or called things older and darker from the shadows beneath the earth, and shackled them into bodies that could not decay, could not sleep. Thus were born the barrow-wights. These wights were not mindless. Some remembered who they had once been. That is a cruelty hard to imagine, to be aware, to feel, and yet be a puppet of another's will. The shamans who performed these rites did not age as other men. The cold of Khan Dûm preserved them, or perhaps the darkness did. I slew one such priest in the ruins of Fornost once, and he laughed even as his blood ran black into the stones. South of Angmar, in the broken highlands of Rudor, dwelt wild hill folk, men with ancient blood who had long resisted the Dunedain. The Witch King courted them, not as subjects, but as zealots. He gave their chieftains dark tokens, shards of cursed iron, bones etched with runes, and scrolls that whispered when unrolled. In exchange, they gave him loyalty and blood, much blood. Their shamans wore antlers and cloaks of skin. They danced by moonlight around pyres, chanting in a tongue that predated even my understanding, perhaps Morgoth's own black speech, known only to those that inflict great evil upon the world. They drank hallucinogenic brews made from nightshade and black moss scraped from barrow walls. Under their trance, they spoke with wights, or at least claimed to. Even now, long after the fall of Angmar and the shattering of Khan Dûm, remnants of these cults linger in the wild. Some may be healers or harmless tricksters, but I've often heard tales of many that prey on the weak and wander the wilds only to seek out the next unwilling victims for their black rituals. In the North Downs, travelers vanish in the fog. Barrows still glow faintly on moonless nights. And in the Troll Shores, I once found a circle of scorched trees, with bones laid out in a sigil I will not name. Who placed them? I do not know. But the spell was fresh, and the blood was still running. And now, to Harad and Rhûn, lands you know only from maps and tales. In the deserts and jungles beyond Gondor's borders dwell men who have never seen the White Tree, but who call upon stars that are not in our sky. They practice old, strange arts, some older than Numenor, though twisted through long ages. In Harad, there are priest kings who drink venom to speak with serpents, and witches who read the wind like a book. Their magic is bound in ritual, in ancestor worship, and in fear. I once stood in the ruins of a Haradrim temple, the walls blackened with the soot of 1,000 burned offerings. What they called forth there, I cannot name, but it was strong enough to blacken the stone and silence the birds for leagues. Things are not so different in Rhûn either, where cults of dragon sorcerers pledge oaths of fealty to the Dark Lord Sauron himself. In fact, it were here in the far east, where some say the blue wizards once wandered. Alatar and Palando. Yes, that was their names, though they have long since passed into legend. Some say they failed, others that they gathered cults and kindled rebellion against Sauron in secret. I do not know. I only know that the East did not fall wholly to the Dark Lord, and for that, perhaps, we have them to thank. Now you ask, what is magic, truly? It is will made manifest. It is the shaping of the world to the thought of the speaker, and therein lies the peril. For all such power, even in the hands of the wise, is a temptation. In Middle-earth, magic is not a tool. It is a reflection of the soul, of the heart, of the speaker's desire. And not all hearts are clean. So now you know a little more than you did before, and may it serve you on the road ahead. But however your travels fare, remember this young one, whether you be man, elf, dwarf, or something else entirely. Wisdom is the greatest magic of all, and it lies not in power, but in knowing when to use none. Now let us bring an end to our tale of magic, places, and secret powers. The hour is late, and the dawn's not far off. Sleep, if you will, friend, and I shall watch the stars a while longer. And should you dream of dark places and terrible deeds, look yonder to the light of the west, for the Valar are ever there to watch and guide us.